Hello everybody on the internet. Wow, 2023 was a big year and a great year for movies. Despite the strikes and the number of box office flops, 2023 really has been the best year for movies since before the pandemic began. It was a year of lessons, that's for sure, but it was great to see that so many people really care about the art they are creating. I saw more movies this year than I ever have before. I have never found it so hard to make a top 5 list. There are so many movies I love that I can't even mention here. But in this video, I'm going to try my best to list my top 5 movies of 2023. Number 5 is John Wick Chapter 4. This was my first time seeing a John Wick movie in cinemas, which was awesome because these movies just get better every time. Chad Stahelski is such an impressive filmmaker. The action, the cinematography, and the world building are top quality. Every sequence is so distinct and impressive, from John vs. Kane to the Arc de Triomphe fight to the Dragon's Breath shootout. Keanu Reeves never ceases to be awesome as John. I love the places this story takes him. And Donnie Yen, Hiroyuki Sanada, Rina Sawayama, and Bill Skarsgård were great additions. And the ending was honestly perfect. Chapter 4 is the best, though it could have been shorter. Number 4 is Transformers Rise of the Beasts. Transformers is one of my favourite things, and it had been 5 years without a Transformers movie. And this was an awesome return for the franchise. It continues Bumblebee's rebooted G1 direction and gives us a more emotional story while also bringing back the spectacle that the franchise is known for. But the writing isn't as strong as Bumblebee's and the action isn't as thrilling as Michael Bay's. Optimus, RC, Mirage and Bumblebee were so cool. The character balance was well done. I like how they included Beast Wars lore and finally gave us G1 Unicron. And they crafted heroes out of Optimus Prime and Noah Diaz. Stephen Cable Jr. really understands Transformers. Number 3 is Shazam! Fury of the Gods. I absolutely love the first Shazam. It restored my love for DC and did the character perfectly. This movie did everything I wanted it to. It increased the scope and raised the stakes while keeping all of the heart and humour. The visuals and the costume design look really good too. Zachary Levi is so funny and is perfect as Shazam. Billy shows he's a true hero. The bigger roles that the Shazam family played was a natural progression. These characters are underrated. I also love how it delves into Greek mythology with the Daughters of Atlas. They were decent villains. And Wonder Woman's appearance was awesome. Thank you, David Sandberg, for the Shazam movies. It's sad that there won't be a third. Number 2 is Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. I do not understand the hate. This was my most anticipated movie of the year, and it was as amazing as I wanted it to be. The Ant-Man movies are smaller scale fun heist movies, but this went above and beyond what anyone could have imagined an Ant-Man movie to go. I loved seeing the Ant-Man family in a sci-fi epic. It still has the humour and family themes that an Ant-Man movie needs whilst going in a new direction. The quantum realm is great looking and is such a well built world. Paul Rudd is so funny as Scott Lang. Cassie is a good new hero and Kang the Conqueror was an insane villain. Jeanette's dynamic with him was so strong. And I like how they included MODOK. Quantumania was an awesome start to Phase 5. Before the number 1, here are some honourable mentions. Gareth Edwards finally returned to cinema with The Creator. It is so impressive and so stunning. I wish I could have seen it in cinemas. I just love sci-fi. Even though the story needed more emotion, this movie deserved to do much better because all filmmakers should take lessons from it. Sound of Freedom is not just a movie, it's a mission. It brings light to a very real issue that needs to be stopped. It's a hard watch, but it's well made, and Jim Caviezel is exceptional in it. I'm so glad that this movie was so successful. God's children are not for sale. Jesus Revolution tells a true story from the 70s about how everyone is welcome in the family of Christ and how indescribably amazing faith is. I love how imperfect all of the characters were. Jonathan Roumie gave the standout performance. No movie this year made me feel as good as Jesus Revolution. Spider-Man Across the Spiderverse taps into the entire history of Spider-Man with next level animation. It goes all out with amazing Easter eggs and both weird and cool spider variants. The personal story for Miles and Gwen really hits hard. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 is yet another piece of top quality cinema. It was a standout cinematic experience for me. The sequences are so well made and impactful. The high stakes story is engaging and Hayley Atwell is such a great addition. Number 1 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I can't believe it's been 6 years since Volume 2. And leave it to bold visionary James Gunn to bring some civility back to the MCU fandom. He's one of my favourite directors. James really poured his whole heart into this movie. The story of the trilogy comes full circle. Rocket's story was the most prominent part, but at the same time every character stood out and got full arcs. It was great to finally see Adam Warlock, and the High Evolutionary is the best villain of the trilogy. As you'd expect from a Guardians movie, it's so funny, but surprisingly, this is the darkest MCU movie. It's also visually stunning and the practical effects are freaking great. And saying goodbye to the Guardians at the ending was so damn emotional. James did everything right. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is the best of the trilogy and is my favourite movie of 2023. So what are your top 5 movies of 2023? Let me know in the comments below, and may the Force be with you.